What's going on, guys? It's Stock Picks by Tim, and in this video we're going to go over some earnings coming up in the beginning of August. Some of these are going to be stocks that I do hold a position in, and some of these I just want to bring to your attention. Now before we get into this, if you don't mind hitting the like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, definitely appreciate it. It helps me out a lot, and I put out daily videos. So let's get into some earnings coming up. And right off the bat, I wanted to mention Workhorse. Their earnings is coming up August 9, and in a second here I'll give you guys a clip that you probably didn't see, but it was Green Power's earnings call, and it gives you a little tidbit of information regarding Workhorse. And if you didn't know, they did make a recent deal with Green Power with quarterly purchases of 200 vehicles. And you know, Workhorse is seeing a nice run up coming up to earnings. We might start pulling back as we get closer to the date. We might see a bit of a red week here. However, ever since May 11, guys, you know me, I've mentioned this before, a lot of stocks saw this as the low point, and Workhorse, it's the same story. Workhorse did see May 11 as its low point. Will it come back there? Time will tell. We'll see if earnings actually comes out really bad. It's very possible, but it's very encouraging to see that, you know, ever since May 11, we have been chugging along, chugging higher. But you're definitely going to want to keep an eye on Workhorse here, and just remember that earnings is coming up. It's very likely we see a little bit of a hesitation, a little bit of fear, a little bit of uncertainty. But stay tuned because I will be covering their earnings call. And let's roll that clip I was talking about.
We've got Workhorse that is just starting deliveries in the next week or two. And over the next 1 or 2 quarters, we get up to that in excess of 200 a quarter, or an annualized of 800 for the year. Brendan provided a overview on the Workhorse arrangement, and I think one of the key aspects of this is that Brendan in particular and the team have been working on this for almost a better part of a year, and our first deliveries start this month. So we're literally getting our first set of the EV Star CCs, or as we refer to our cabin chassis, which is the picture on the left there, and delivering the first tranche to Workhorse, which they will integrate with a product that they brought to market that they branded as the W750. And I believe they have 2 models of this vehicle. So that's what they will be selling to their customer. The overall transaction is for 1,500 EV Star CCs, as we previously disclosed, and it's important to note that there's that works out to just an average in excess of 200 per quarter for the next 7 quarters that relates to that agreement. And as noted on this slide, this is one of the largest medium or heavy duty EV transactions, in that it's not one of these up to a certain number. This is for 1,500 EV Star cabin chassis. So it's very exciting for the company, but in particular, given that we are now entering into the delivery phase, and the first few months will be bringing it up to that average that we note here, but it'll be a fairly quick progression in terms of getting to that average of 200 a quarter.
All right, so you might have a few questions here. You might be wondering, okay, so they're expecting some revenue. You know, it's laughable. They're expecting about 15,000 in this quarter that they're reporting. And you know, you might be saying, okay, well, how are they going to sell any vehicles if Green Power is just now starting to send Workhorse, you know, up to 200 vehicles a quarter? Well, don't forget, you know, they have the C1000s that the CEO did say that they're going to be, you know, using up the rest of their inventory and selling those first, and then getting to this W750s and other makes and models of Workhorse vehicles. But let me know what you think down below in the comments. Is Workhorse going to have a beat in revenue? Are they actually going to sell some trucks this quarter? Let me know what you think. And we've also got CleanSpark reporting on the 9th, August 9th, and I will very likely be covering this one right when it comes out. And looking at CleanSpark, you'll see that we did break out of this kind of downward wedge pattern. We did break it, and then we kind of wrote it down, tested it twice, and then had a nice bump. Now, one thing that is very, very encouraging is we didn't break our recent low on the 5th of July, and we got very, very close to that. We hit about 380. So, you know, it is nice to see that we didn't break our previous low, but I feel like enough time hasn't passed. You know, if this was May 11th, I'd be a lot more positive about this, but just because they clocked their last recent low only a little over a month ago, it's just something to be aware of. However, having said that, oh my God, guys, this is a screaming deal in my opinion, and you all know how I feel about CleanSpark. And next up, I wanted to mention Indy. This is my high conviction semiconductor play, and this one's actually reporting August 11. And you know, looking at Indy's chart, ever since we broke 610, this thing has been on an absolute tear, and even recently, yesterday, we're talking about Friday, This thing broke its recent high, and to me there's no reason that it won't continue. And you'll notice on longer term time frames, each candle here is 1 week, represents 1 week. You'll see that, the RSI is just now neutral. We definitely have a lot more to run, so don't think that just because Indy ran from about 610 resistance, to pushing the $7 area, don't think that that's over for it. It definitely has a lot more push in this one. However, we have earnings coming up. It's very likely we see a little bit of pessimism, a little bit of fear, maybe a retracement. In that case, my opinion, great buying opportunity. However, you might want to hold after earnings. Be ready to buy after if you don't have a position yet. But typically, Indy comes out with great numbers. Their revenue every time so far has beat, and they continue to give good guidance, give good outlooks. Now this quarter they're expecting 25 million, and this will be the best quarter they've had if they can hit that. All right, my friends. Now next up I want to get into a couple of stocks, one that I own and a couple that I don't. Now we do have PayPal reporting after the close on Tuesday. I'm definitely going to be covering that one, so you want to stick around if you have PayPal. Now another stock I like to trade in and out of, I don't currently have a position, that's going to be AMD, and that's the same date, Tuesday after the close. Now I also wanted to mention SoFi. This is a big retail heavy play. Of course also AMC, we've got both of those reporting. SoFi is going to be Tuesday after the close along with PayPal and AMD. And then we've got AMC after the close on Thursday. And another big one we've also got on Wednesday, we've got Lucid reporting. I don't have a position in Lucid right now, but let me know in the comments below if you want me to cover SoFi, AMC, Lucid, or AMD. Definitely more than willing to look into those. And to be honest, all of those I have traded in and out of, but all 4 of those, besides PayPal, I don't know if I just mentioned that, but AMD, AMC, SoFi, Lucid, I don't currently have a position in any of those. Now before I go, I did quickly want to mention PayPal here. We were in this downtrend ever since April 2022. We recently broke out of this. This was on 15th of July. It broke out of this downward trend and it has been pushing higher so far. Is this the beginning of the turnaround, and is the bottom staring at us? That doesn't sound right. And, is that max fear, is that low point staring at us right in the face? I personally think, if $69, $70 is not the bottom, even then, if it does come near there, I'd be more than happy to buy, even if it was to create new lower lows. But just be aware that, new lows usually bring new lows, and new highs usually bring new highs. However, you have to consider your conviction level. High conviction stocks, you might be more willing to buy those 52-week lows, or at least more willing to consider it, than something that you don't have as much conviction in. As some of you guys that are familiar with this channel may know, I haven't really talked about Matterport lately. I haven't really talked about Astra, and stocks like those have been creating new 52-week lows. And for me, I just don't have the same conviction level on something, compared to CleanSpark, compared to Indy. If those create 52-week lows, boy, you better believe I'm going to be buying those. But, looking at Matterport, looking at Astra, I'm not as willing to just continue to buy 52-week lows on companies like those because my conviction isn't as high. But, don't let my conviction dictate how you feel about certain stocks. Always do your own DD, always do your own research, and develop your own convictions, because that is going to be what dictates the direction you go in any bear market. Are you going to just avoid something? Are you going to sell out and give up on it? Are you going to buy the dip? Are you going to buy that fear? But quickly getting back to PayPal, you'll see that the revenue estimate was 6.7 billion, and I would absolutely love to see that. If they can beat that and get closer to 7 billion, they will actually have the best quarter in a year. So we'll see where their earnings goes, we'll see how the revenue looks, but I'm definitely confident in PayPal at its price. Even though it has ran up a bit, from that $70 area, I still do think it's undervalued, and I still think it's worth a DCA. But let me know what you think in the comments below, guys, and is there any other earnings I should cover? But thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.